5 major things I've learned since becoming a full-time project manager. And do also let me know in the comments if you'd like me to cover more content relating to project management and what areas you'd like to see me cover in future. Number 5, leadership. You're there to inspire, guide, and motivate your team, and that may sound as cheesy as anything, but it is actually like that in the real world as well. It doesn't matter whether you've got any direct reports or whether you don't, that applies the same way as well. What you're there to do is become an anchor point. So when things are going left, you're there to be that anchor point that is there to realign and guide everyone and redirect everything into the correct path that leads towards successful project completion. You're there to make sure everyone is on the same page within your team. That may also apply to any external third parties that you have hired to assist with the project. The same mentality as well. You're there to guide and make sure everyone is heading in the right direction on that project. Not saying that I'm perfect at doing this. There are areas that I'm exceeding in, there are areas that I'm learning in as well. But if you are someone that's looking to get into project management, that is an area that you want to make sure that you really lean into and draw from any experiences where you've had to do anything along the lines of leadership. Number 4, communication skills. Now, communication skills, it goes without saying, they are key when it comes to project management. So this applies whether you're communicating across, whether you're communicating downwards, whether you're communicating upwards, or whether you're communicating with vendors. You need to find a way to adapt your communication style. So if, for example, if you're communicating with a colleague, you might be a bit more detailed in your communication, whereas if you're communicating with an executive, then you want to try and be a bit more condensed and give more of a summary rather than go into low-level detail. If you're communicating with a third-party vendor that's not part of your company, you might want to try and keep in mind things like GDPR, the information that you're revealing about your company. If you're communicating with a prospective client, put your selling hat on. If with someone that's potentially considering taking up the services of your company. So things like that, always worth keeping in mind. Number 3, organizational skill. Another one that goes without saying. You're going to be building and maintaining project plans. You want to make sure that you're someone that's able to engage the right people, a well of knowledge when it comes to your current project plans, scope. You want to make sure that you're able to identify and mitigate risks as well. If anything goes wrong on the project, you're the person that has to answer. You're accountable for that project. So you want to make sure that you are aware of any aspects that are related to that project and that you're always up to date. If anything goes wrong, you're the person that has to know what's going on. You're the person that has to go back and look at your notes, look at the project plan, look at the risk plan, and make sure that everything is detailed on there and that you're always aware in order to resolve that situation. Personally, I work on multiple projects at the same time, so it does get a bit more challenging, but that's also the beauty of it. The higher the challenge, the more you learn and the stronger you become. So if you are looking to get into project management, being organized is highly useful. Number 2, problem solving skills. You want to be someone that's able to identify potential risks when it comes to projects. You want to be able to see things before they happen where possible. If there is any areas where people haven't highlighted or people haven't noticed that things could go wrong, through your organizational skills, through your keeping your notes, through your project plans being up to date, through your communication on live calls and just keeping things up to date, you want to be that person that's able to say, okay, there's a potential risk here, it could cost us money, it could cost us time, and communicate that effectively with your team and with your executives as well. You also need to look at where the opportunities lie in terms of solutions. All of that again links back to that being organized, always keeping project scope in mind, always keeping budget in mind, and understanding not only what the solution is, the potential cost of that solution relative to the potential cost of not implementing that solution and the impact on the overall project and scope as well. Once you have identified opportunities and risks, you're someone that's able to come back and keep things on track, organize, add to your project plan, and make sure that it's always up to date with what's happening within that project. Final point is being adaptable. As much as all the other points that I've mentioned are also key, adaptability is also a huge factor. Things can often change. You need to be comfortable with ambiguity. Things can start on the right note. People leave, key stakeholders changing jobs, things like that. You plan what's going to happen if someone leaves their role. You don't want that to derail the project. You don't want a key stakeholder that knows everything about the project to leave and then everyone is scratching their heads and they don't know what on earth is going on. So putting a plan in place in order to be more flexible and more adaptable is absolutely key. So when these things do happen, you're able to be that anchor point again, bring things back to the middle ground, make sure no one is panicking, and make sure that the project is on track and heading in the right direction. Circumstances change, unexpected challenges. You just need to be someone that keeps calm under pressure and always be flexible in your approach. Obviously, you're always keeping your scope in mind, you're keeping your budget in mind, but also be open to other suggestions and other options when it comes to problem solving and adaptability, as long as it's within that scope, as long as it's within that budget, as long as the client and your internal stakeholders are happy as well. I hope you guys found that helpful. Do make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Any additional topics under project management you'd like me to cover, do let me know in the comments, and I'm more than happy to have a look and see if I can oblige. For now, thank you very much for watching. I will see you on the next one.